I'm starting by filling in the stem and the little leaves of the dandelion with green. It's green mixed with a bit of white for that paint. A little bit of shading, not terribly important. Most of that's going to get covered up. I've then filled in the center with yellow ochre with some white, doing a little bit more shading there. Now I'm adding the seeds. I'm using burnt sienna, or raw sienna, sorry, and just kind of blocking in where those are going to go. I'm going to throw some out here to make it look wispy and like they're floating away. Now most of this is going to get covered with other stuff, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Now I'm adding a bit of white in with my raw sienna on the stems just to give it a bit more detail. Don't forget to get that on all the little seeds floating away. Now I'm coming through with a liner brush and black paint. I'm adding the texture on the inside of the flower and then some shading around the seeds to give it some form so it's not quite so flat. Again, most of this is going to get covered, but it's still important to get that in there for what little shows through. I'm next using the liner brush with white to add stems all the way around coming out from the little seeds. Got to add those onto the seeds that are floating away as well. I'm going to use the liner brush with more white paint and add the little hairy guys on the outside of the dandelion. Pretty sure that's a technical term. I'm going to go all the way around the edge once, and then I'm going to come back through on the inside with a couple of more layers, just to start giving it form so that it looks more three-dimensional and not quite as flat. Now you can get really creative with this with your perspective. Here I've kept it very flat and very simple. You can see I'm doing the inside layer now, and then one more I'm going to go partially by the seeds I've already gotten. And now the seeds floating away. This part probably takes longer than any other part of the painting. That's a lot of little hairy guys. Using a little bit of black to add some more detail to those stems, or not the stems, the seeds. Now is the part where it makes it look fluffy. I'm using the airbrush with some white paint, and I'm putting dots all the way around the outside edge and then again on the inner edge. I'm going to only go part way on, you can see kind of the lower left-hand corner, so that it looks like part of the seeds on the inside are open, and then the rest are just floating away. But each seed has to have one dot of that white, and that's what really gives it that light, fluffy feeling. You can probably get away with doing it by glazing or dry brushing. It's not going to be quite the same effect, but if you don't have an airbrush available, you can use that. You just want to make sure it's fairly transparent. You still should see the little stems you've done in between. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to come back through with the liner brush and add a few more details back in for the stems that extend from the seeds on the inside out to the light, fluffy areas. A little bit more detail with the white paint. With the liner brush, I've gone back through and highlighted a few more spots on that dandelion. And that's really about it. Like I said, you can go more advanced as far as how much detail you want to add, or perspective, but this is just a basic way to get you started. I hope that helps.